Hi, this is Kelley from Alpaca Direct, and I'm here today talking about Ladder Back Jacquard. And if you haven't seen that before, I will show you an example of what it looks like. This is the Alaska hat, and it is a pattern on Ravelry. I forget the name of the designer's name, but if you type in Alaska on Ravelry, you can see it. And what Ladder Back Jacquard does for you is when you have a long stretch and you're going from one color, like for instance, the black color here, and then have a long stretch of red and then back to the black, it gives you a way to interlock your floats, and it gives you some nice, maintains the stretchiness of the fabric. So if you look here, it's nice and stretchy. See how it's nice and stretchy? Okay, let's take a look on the inside and see what it looks like. Here's Ladder Back Jacquard. Do you see these black lines? That's what it looks like on the inside of your work. And it is separate from the other color work. It creates like a mesh, which is very stretchy and very nice to wear. And it allows you, again, to catch those floats. Have you ever done the color work where you knit with a dark color and a light color, for instance, and you interlock the floats and you see your dark color show through because you've used regular knitting like this down here where I did regular knitting. And if I were to catch the floats, now on here it is a multicolored yarn, so you can't really see it. But if I did catch the floats down here and switch from one color to the other might show through.
Show them how close so they can see it, how nice it looks.
Yes. Do you see how you have these long stretches of it's like a tree there, and then you have red, and see how nice and stretchy it is between the two colors, between the black and the red. It's totally awesome. Ladder Back Jacquard is not as hard as you might think. Here is another example. I have this pattern here that I just started this week, and it is actually, do you see how it's a praying mantis? And do you see how there's long stretches from where it goes from one color to the next color, and you have to either interlock the floats every 4 to 5 stitches. I like to interlock my floats about every 4 stitches. I find that if even 5 stitches is a little bit long for my floats, but when you're doing a pattern like this, you have to find a way to interlock those floats and have your project still look beautiful when you're done and still have some stretchiness. So every week we have a giveaway. For this last week, we had this Coeur d'Alene Bravo Baby Alpaca Petites, and this is 100% baby alpaca made in Peru by Alpaca Direct. And it's this lovely purple color, and that was a winning color for this week. And then for this next week, I was thinking that some Ultra Alpaca Light. This is a sport weight yarn. It's a 50-50 blend of super fine alpaca mixed with Peruvian Highland wool. And you can see how pretty these colorways. So the two choices that you can help me decide is, would you rather have me send 2 skeins of the red or 2 skeins of the teal?
The red or teal?
Yes, so red or teal are the color options for the winner for this next week. And if you are a winner, all I ask is that you contact Alpaca Direct at customer service and give us your shipping address so we can get it out in the mail to you.
How do they qualify for this?
And yes, Jim said, how do they qualify to enter to win? And you simply post comments in the comment section. Let us know what you're working on. You can post anything in the comment sections. You can even send us a picture of something if you are making something that's beautiful and want to share it with us. We'd love that. That'd be great. And then you're entered to win. And then if you win, we will announce it on next week's Technique Tuesday. So I wanted to show you, here is, I keep showing these regular socks because it does have some value to it. This one is small repeats, but you can see on this sock that it has some stretch, but it doesn't have a ton of stretch. And you can see it has small color changes. It's not long stretches of one color and then the other. So that you don't need the Ladder Back Jacquard for. It's only when you have things like the Alaska hat that has the tree, or this other pattern that I found on Ravelry, the praying mantis. And this pattern is, let's see, it's called Mantis and Flowers Cowl by Huey Wang Harbich. I might be crucifying that.
We'll get him to get a post
But
to that.
yeah, and it is a paid for pattern that I found on Ravelry. But my granddaughter loves praying mantises, and I happen to have some green. I would have liked to have a lighter color green, but so it looked more like a praying mantis color. But I like the color, this color that I chose. That's pretty. Yeah. And then I just have some off-white color to go with it. These are just yarns out of my stash. This was a Madeline Tosh Twist Light. So I wanted to show you on here this project that I'm doing. It has almost 200 stitches, so it's slow going. So I started with a provisional cast on, you can see right here. And then I did knit 4 rounds, and then it did a yarn over knit 2 together, and then knit 4 more rounds, and then joined that provisional cast on. And you can see on here, the join is super nice. You do that with the provisional cast on. It's awesome. And then I finished the ribbing that we were talking about. And what's that ribbing called, Jim?
Corrugated ribbon.
Yes, it's called corrugated ribbing, Jim said. And here it is right here. And you can see that this ribbing, here's what the back of that ribbing looks like. It looks like that. Isn't that cool? So that's all done. And then I'm just beginning my pattern. And you can see the little pattern beginnings of my pattern showing here.
And that's going to be a praying mantis?
Yep. It's going to be this picture right here. And I'm starting way down here at the bottom. Yep. It's going to take me a long time to finish it, I think, because it has 94 rounds. And I can do about 1 round. Well, let me show you what they look like. 1 round takes me about 20 minutes because I have to count. Let me show you my little piece of paper. Do you see the little paper here? What 1 round looks like? It's quite the challenge. So that's what that looks like. Anyway, it's kind of fun. I always like, the more complicated the pattern, the better I like it.
And tell them
So,
what we had today. Snow.
What? Oh, yes, we had several inches of snow today. It's beautiful outside. It's starting to look like Christmas. I'm so happy. I don't mind the snow at all. Plus, I have a lot of alpaca that I've been waiting to wear, and now I can wear it. And I should have worn it tonight because my fingers are cold. Let's take a look here and see what we can do about our looking at that Ladder Back Jacquard. So the first thing that I had on my list of questions is, when would you use this? And sorry, Jim, my yarn was caught. So you would use Ladder Back Jacquard in between these stretches right here, where they have a long stretch of one color, and then you're going back to the other color. Okay, so that's when you would use it. Something like this, you would never use Ladder Back Jacquard because the repeat is so short that you don't need it. It's unnecessary. So that is when you would use it. And a thing that I really like about the Ladder Back Jacquard is that it's soft and stretchy. Your fabric is really stretchy in between there, more so than when you do regular interlocking of floats. The Ladder Back Jacquard makes your fabric very stretchy, and then you don't have those little, your color that you're carrying along the back doesn't show through like it would when you're interlocking regular color work. So you can see here, do you see how I have this white stitch here, and you can see a purl bump right there? That's the Ladder Back Jacquard. So when you get to that one, what you do is you bring both working yarns forward, and you would just purl that stitch. Much like it's very similar to double knitting. I find it very similar to double knitting. So then I'm just going to knit a few stitches. And what if I thought, okay, I need a ladder back jacquard stitch in white. So here's how I would set it up. First, you bring both yarns forward. Then you, on the left-hand needle, that stitch on the left-hand needle, you grab the noose from the stitch from below, and you put it right up on the needle, and then you would move that green yarn out of the way, and you would just purl it. So that is how I started my ladder back jacquard. And I did mine every 4 stitches, but you can do it however often that you want. And if you wanted to, let's take a look at this. You could take a yellow highlighter and highlight where your ladder back jacquards are, like every 5th stitch, for instance. Every prominent black line represents 5 stitches. If you wanted to put your ladder back jacquard every 5 stitches, which is very common, then you would just highlight every single black line, and it would look like that, and it would show you when your ladder back jacquards are coming up, so you don't accidentally knit it like a regular stitch. That's the one thing about the ladder back jacquard, that you need to knit a little bit more slowly so you don't start doing creative knitting. Do you know what I mean by that, Jim? Making a stitch out of your ladder back jacquard would not help you with your stitch count. So I have both yarns in the back, and let's see if I can. I'm just going to knit regular knitting until I get to where another ladder back stitches. Here it is right here. And the way that you can tell, again, that's a purl bump. So you would bring both working yarns to the front, and you would purl that stitch. Now, mind you, I am not following the pattern, and I would normally not have a stretch of green going more than 5 stitches. So if I needed to make another ladder back in between those 5 stitches, I could easily do it by doing what I showed you, which is, let me show you one more time.
Why are you not following the pattern?
Because I don't have the pattern in front of me.
Oh, okay.
Is that a good reason? Jim said, why are you not following the pattern? I don't have the pattern in front of me. So both yarns forward, purl a stitch, bring both yarns back, and then continue knitting on. And now you have created another ladder back jacquard stitch. Is that cool? So this one, you would see that that one's a ladder back jacquard stitch. And you just bring both yarns forward. And if it's already there, you just purl it. And this is not included in your stitch counts. When it tells you to knit 22, for instance, in green, or 22 in white, this ladder back jacquard stitches, they are not counted in your knitting. So what I do when I'm knitting with ladder back jacquard, I'll go, say I'm knitting with a green, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then I'm at the ladder back jacquard. I bring both yarns forward and purl it, and then I say ladder back jacquard stitch. I don't say 4. I mean, I don't count that as a stitch. I say 4, interlock or something like that. I don't call it a number. I wouldn't say number 5 here. Otherwise, it'll mess up your count. Okay, so then that would be 5, 6, 7, and 8. And again, interlock. Bring both working yarns forward and interlock that stitch. And that's how easy the ladder back jacquard is. And you can see on the back here, I have several ladder back jacquard stitches in between my work. And once they block out, you can see that it will just be, the stitches will even out and get really nice so that you don't have any puckering on your actual fabric and no white showing through. Isn't that cool?
Mm-hmm.
See how there's no white showing through? Yeah. So that is Ladder Back Jacquard. It's totally cool. And let's see. So I showed you how to start it. I showed you when you might be able to use it, which is when you have a series of long stretches of different colors. And I showed you how easy it is to get started. So you can use it on any project, even if they don't tell you to use it, you can use it.
What's the best
Yeah.
time to use it? What would be projects to use it?
This Alaska hat, a lot of people, if you look in Ravelry, a lot of people have used the Ladder Back Jacquard technique for this Alaska hat, because it creates a really nice hat that doesn't have the other stitches showing through. So it's totally fantastic. And then again, if you didn't hear earlier when I announced it, the yarn that is the giveaway for this week is the Ultra Alpaca Light, which is 50% Peruvian Highland wool and 50% superfine alpaca by Barocco. And this is a sport weight yarn, and we can choose either the red or the teal. And whatever you guys choose is what we will send out for next week for the price for whatever. And then the winner just needs to contact us at customer service at Alpaca Direct, and we can get it out in the mail to them. So that's fantastic. And then I was thinking, before I'm thinking about that, I wanted to select the winner for our yarn for this week. And this was the Bravo Petites, and it's 100% baby alpaca. Nice purple colorway that you guys chose, and 2 skeins of it. Let's see who the winner is. Judy Roach Styles. Congratulations, Judy. You won some lovely yarn. I'm sure that you're going to enjoy this. I love the baby alpaca yarn made in Peru. It's so soft.
We import
Yeah.
directly.
Yes, we import it directly from, there are 2 really well-known factories in Peru, and these are from one of the very best factories in Peru, and it's baby alpaca. Yes, it's wonderful. And so we also have a coupon code for the Ultra Alpaca Light. And if you haven't, if you want to purchase some of this Ultra Alpaca Light yarn by Barocco, it's a sport weight yarn. We have a coupon code for today only. It's a 1-day coupon code, and it's TT217, TT217, to get 10% off for today only. And this is what the Ultra Alpaca Light, you can see what the tag looks like. It's great. This project is, this yarn is a workhorse yarn that is fantastic, and I use it all the time. I really, really like it. You can't go wrong with it. So I was thinking for this next Tuesday for Facebook Live, if Ladder Back Jacquard is just way too hard for you to figure out and you don't have any desire to learn how to do it, I wanted to teach you easy ways to catch long floats. So stay tuned for next Tuesday, and we can talk about easy ways to catch long floats.